Did you know Bond students have been in every Olympics since '92? How do they do it? Bond is known for its prowess in the sporting domain. With incredible facilities throughout campus, it means you can easily transition from this to this. Sport is alive and well at Bond University.
The preliminary final. It is the most emotionally extreme match of any competition, any year, anywhere in Australian football. One of these teams at the end of today will probably feel more relief than anything else. The other team expect tears. We have two genuine premiership contenders on show today. The Aspley Hornets, second over the course of the year, missed out in the minor premiership on percentage only, went down to Southport last week. This is their second chance to make the grand final. Against them, the defending premiers, the Bond University Bull Sharks, just one win behind the two leaders throughout the regular season. Their premiership defence is very much alive and well. Welcome to Zups Aspley Oval, host of the preliminary final in the 2024 Bond University QAFLW. My name is Daniel Viles. It's a great pleasure to be with you for this gut-wrenching match, and I've been saying that in print and on the microphone a lot this week. I should probably get a new record, but bear with me. With me, AFLQ and QAFLW competition manager Adrian Richardson. Adrian, welcome.
Thanks, Daniel. Fantastic to be here. What a beautiful evening, late afternoon it is for football, and what a contest we're expecting here tonight.
Just the one change to the name sides. Bond is as named for Aspley. Unfortunately, Lucia Liesi has pulled up sick. She's been replaced by Drew Barnes, who of course kicked a goal in the last minute a few weeks ago when we were on air at Cooperoo. And yes, you described that one as a UFO, and apparently the team weren't much kinder when they got her back into the sheds. But no, she's been in good form late in the season. Adrian, a few people have asked me on the way to the ground, who's your tip for today? And I'm known for being obsessively neutral. However, I genuinely don't have a clue with this one. I don't mind saying so. Are you any the wiser?
Oh, look, I'm in your boat a little bit there, Daniel. We've got two strong teams with stars across every line. I was fortunate enough to see the elimination final last week, Bond beating Cooperoo, and they were impressive there. They're getting things together at the right time of the year, but I wouldn't be doubting Aspley's ability here at their home ground to get the job done tonight. So, look, I'm on the fence, but I'll probably lean towards Bond University.
Adrian's put his cards on the table, and we are off at Zups Aspley Oval. The preliminary final. Havana Harris in the ruck is turned around by Lucy Pengelly. The temperature's in the low 20s, about 23.5. It said the report said the wind could be up around 20 k's an hour, but there's no evidence of that right now. It will not rain. There's a lot of rain in Brisbane during the week, but none of it now. As Mia Salisbury crashes through the pack, she'll get the first inside 50 of the day's play. Knocked away by Aspley as their defence looking organised early. And if I say that they got caught napping by Southport last week. Well, first of all, they weren't napping, and secondly, Southport's done that to more than just Aspley this year. Harris again. Sexton, tackled by our opposite number, Perry, and that'll be a key battle in the middle of the field today. Harris not getting out the hit-up numbers early. Sorry, Adrian.
Oh, Sexton over the top of the ball there, just holding the Aspley player down. Sorry, mate, I didn't realise you were throwing to me. Down in the back line, Stellard, we've got Davidson, I think, standing beside Stellard as they go to the ruck contest again. Aspley with the hands out. Falls to a Bond player. Talia Meyer collects it, but in a tackle at the same time and just keeps it in tight for another ball up.
Jamie Bryant applying the tackle, who's a winger, but mainly a defender over the past 3 seasons, knows how to tackle.
Harris again, wins that one herself. Forces it inside 50, bouncing ball. Kassler in there. It's a bit scrappy at the moment. Who's that who jumped on top of there? Number 35, Bronte Parker. Parker and Kassler very good in the contested ball last week in the forward line.
Forward pressure's the name of the game in women's football these days, that's for sure. I think Starsball, we can probably credit Mr. Starcevic with that particular fashion in women's football, but still Bond inside 50. A hook shot around from Salisbury, and then marked in the goal square, completely unopposed by Kassler. And she will go back and drain this, you would think. Leah Kassler, literally twice the age of some of her teammates. She hates it when I say that, but I don't care because she's a quality player who opens the scoring in the 2024 preliminary final.
Yeah, nice mark there from Kassler in the goal square. I think the story of the game so far, it's just been contested ball, contest ball ups. Havana Harris has got a hand on it a few times and forced the ball forward, knocked it forward, and again just in that stoppage inside 50, it was a quick kick. I'm not sure who kicked it.
Salisbury.
Out there. Salisbury, was it? Well, she's had 2 quick kicks as well, I think. And it fell into Kassler's hands. Neat goal at the end there.
I was a bit late on the Mia Salisbury fan club. Her disposal efficiency this season's been off the chart, the highest of any inside midfielder with a decent number of disposals. Is crashing through the middle of the pack was Jess Davey, who's had an outstanding year. Number 1 for effective disposals in the competition. Out to Van der Weel on the far wing. Van der Weel looking for Tyson, who gets over the back of Lightfoot. Tyson's able to find a way through. Left it for Watt Farah. The handball back to Tyson. Getting in the way was Moody. McDonough had to release. Bond have numbers around the ball, but may not have secured it. Balcom trying to get out of defence. Scored her first goal in this competition last week. I nearly fell off my chair. And I wasn't even sitting down at the time. Out to Watt Farah. Watt Farah on the narrow angle. There's a whistle, though. Just out of bounds on the full.
Throw-in.
Boundary throw-in, beg your pardon.
Yep. Paris Lightfoot still directing the troops down there in the back line. It was very good last week against Cooperoo, again, as she has been for a number of years now.
Although she did announce on social media during the week last year as captain at Bond University. I think I know how she'd like to finish her captaincy career. Taylor with the left foot. Gets it outside. Just went back to Pittman. Pengelly suddenly was hot as pressure came on from behind. Harris will clear outside of 50. Salisbury was tackled without the ball, but I think it was after she'd already knocked it on, and in the corner of the square we'll have a ball up.
Very much one-on-one footy across the ground here, Daniel. Players matching up tight as it Kawa.
Yes.
That ball out of the contest there inside Aspley's 50.
Tyson.
Hung to Tyson, gets it into, and that's Davidson. Wins the mark against Stellard in the goal square.
And that is a tasty, tasty matchup. Jasmine Davidson and Jess Stellard, arguably the best in their position. I mean, with centre halfbacks, you're looking at people like Feta Hugic as well, but Davidson as a centre halfback this year has been extraordinary. Good mark by Collegia. And I'll say that more times over the next decade, I hope. Keeps it wide to Kassler.
And Kassler goes back on the outer wing over there. True midfield position, just looking at her options. Short into Harris, but intercepted there by the Aspley player off the mark. Is it Pengelly under the pack there? It is. Number 5 gets the ball out. It's just scrummaging around there. Out to Harris. Kicks a high ball in towards the middle. Salisbury under it. Bryant contests. Over the back to Meyer. It gets overrun by a little bit. And just tackled and in the true centre of the ground.
O'Flaherty wiping the dust off her brown and gold jersey. Growing every year, was very good in her days at Wilston Grange, then came here a couple of years ago holding the player, and Pengelly will have a free kick to clear her out of the dust, which is not a criticism of Aspley. That's pretty much typical of football centre circle at this time of the year. Tyson made a long run to get to that ball, then went without it. Lightfoot, Balcombe, she'll clear. Going up the eastern side of the ground, taken very well by Kaslar, who won a premiership as a ruck, played AFLW in defence and scored the first goal today at full forward. And I could probably name every position on the ground that she's played. O'Flaherty inside 50, looking for the contest with Stallard. Hits a couple of shoulders, knocks away from the contest. Stallard regroups. Stallard shoots. Just misses to the left. Hasn't scored since returning to Australia from her mid-season European sojourn.
Heavily contested game at the moment, Daniel. Haven't seen too many chains of handballs and kicks together. Possession. Intercept is the name of the game at the moment, and contest. So, like a true final, I suppose. Just to kick things off so far. Bond Uni 1 goal. Aspley Hornets 1 point.
As Bond come out wide into the pocket, which is about as wide as anyone's been so far in this game, as you were just alluding to, Adrian. Comes up the near side to a contest, went over the top of Evans, that's Maisie Evans. Hung across, back inside 50, just to the edge of it. Van der Weel came down with it, took 2 attempts, but got the mark just inside 50. She's a good kick, Van der Weel, but I don't think she's a 50-metre shot kick. If she wants to prove me wrong, now would be a good time to do it. So Anna Van der Weel, more likely looking to the square. Stallard's made a bit of a run. Van der Weel will go straight to the hotspots. Got a bit of distance on it. Davidson was first to it. Got some kind of possession away. Moody supported well, as did Lightfoot. Watt Farah sniping. And played away to Balcombe. And that Bond University back 5 is a well-oiled machine of late. And even though they've made the mistake by kicking it out on the full, just the way they were able to handball their way out of trouble. Probably the first handball chain we've seen today, Adrian.
Yeah, a little bit of teamwork there, which is good. But as I said, well, I mean, no, Bond have gone with a little bit of a zone here, so it's less woman on woman at the moment. But as it goes in, Hung knocked out of her hands, picked up by Bond with the handball. Lightfoot comes away out to the wing, but it's going to be repelled by O'Connor as she picks it up, but good pressure from Sexton out there as the ball dribbles over the boundary line in front of McDonough. A little bit of space over the last couple of minutes compared to the start of the game, so things are starting to, players are finding their feet and probably getting rid of a few nerves.
Yes, Jeff Newman, who's spent a fair bit of time in commentary boxes around the Bond University QAFLW, always says the final doesn't start till both teams have scored. Louise Tyson looking to make that happen for Aspley now. Just hits in between players, and Bond will have enough defenders to be able to clean up behind the contest. Comes out wide to Nyali Milne, who more familiar as a forward, but has been playing in defence the last couple of weeks. Landwehr settles things down. Best on ground between these sides in Pride Round. Had a brilliant game that day, CJ Landwehr. Maisie Evans goes wide as Bond made a change of switching to play in defence and did it across midfield.
Out wide there, but Aspley player was Ernst. Getting the ball off the ground by Taylor, heading towards the boundary line. Is it going to be paid deliberate? It is.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the norm nowadays. You mentioned Milne before, playing backline. She was very impressive last week in the elimination final. Could have been easily Bond Uni's best on ground.
That is how they named her. Yep, Mandy Level named her as Bond's best.
Yep, no, just the way she can change direction, the high football IQ, Nyali Milne. As
that's Thompson clearing.
Thompson.
Oh,
I was double guessing myself there. It was Thompson.
A rare clanger from Lucy Thompson. And as the umpires are in the action, I may as well mention them. In the field today, Mitchell Blashak, Tyler Higson and Noah Perza-Page. On the boundary, Thomas Lay and Andrew Barnes. And in goal, Zoe Matthews and James Sakasiris.
Maisie Evans just surveying what she's got in front of her there. Goes short into Harris. Harris bends down a long way. Grabs it, jumps back on the ball though. This might be paid against her. Yep. She jumped back on and then wasn't able to get it. Oh no, she's thrown. Is that going to be paid against? No. Not sure about that one nowadays. Could easily be paid 50 as Aspley come down the middle of the ground. Very attacking move here, marked by
Drew Barnes.
The in. Out wide, Tallis running onto it, but Maya with her. Gemma Blair across the ground and over to, is that McNaughton?
It is Emma McNaughton. 3 goals against Bond University in Pride round. Had a brilliant day. And then a handball that just did not connect. Was picked off by Shannon Nolan, who's had an amazing year. Finds Sunny Hewitt in the middle of the park. Hewitt, Collegia, one of the easier marks she'll take this year, as Pengelly came painfully close to the area. Goes over everyone. Alana Perry is in the back line. Tried to get away from Parker. Incorrect disposal? No, correct disposal. Allowed to play on. Tiana Ernst on the ground. Nearly fell out to Harris, who was hovering. And Bond University turned that into attack rapidly.
Yeah, Isabella Davies looked very much like she was going to run onto a free ball there.
2 goals last week as Perry in peril. Wrapped up, just a ball up.
Yep, no prior opportunity there. Yeah, she was very dangerous around. So I mentioned Kasler and Parker were doing all the contested work. Davies was really good in and around the ball as a benefit of that.
Aspley working it out through Tyson. Only as far as Landwehr. She'll have a shot.
Yeah, that clearing kick that just high. And we normally have the teams setting up a wall nowadays for that quick kick outside as Landwehr. Doesn't take too much time. Kicks a little bit short, but that's Havana Harris with the strong mark just outside the goal square, but this shouldn't be too much problem for her. She surveys it, snapshot, and straight through for a goal. Not too much emotion there from Havana, just a little clap to herself. She was quite happy with that. But Bond Uni with a few nice, neat possessions there. Landwehr, look, she was going for goal there, but Harris certainly had the advantage of the kick, just holding her opponent out. And for her reward, she jogs up into the middle, and she's about to resume ruck duties again.
There's watching Havana Harris at this early stage of her career. Now, I'm not about to, there's plenty of media around the country predicting every bit of her future. But seeing her in a high-pressure game like this, of course, won best on ground in last year's grand final. And just that reaction you were talking about there, she's definitely here to win. And, we know she's got all the skills. We know she's got all the attributes. But, of course, what often makes champions is that winning instinct. As Ari Clark tried to clear and was wrapped up by Tyson. Clark's been excellent in midfield since having to move there with all the injuries to the inside midfielders, but made a mistake on that occasion. Tyson through the middle and then kicks it away to Maya. But as I was saying, Adrian, I think seeing her mindset and seeing what might set her apart from her contemporaries in the rest of her career, it's a fascinating time of her career to watch.
Pittman with the handball over there, a little bit of scrappy play, but Aspley moving it towards their forward 50 line. Free ball comes out to Bronte Parker, who's gotten back to help out. But Aspley take it, kick it into the middle to Davey. Davey comes off the mark, goes out wide to Daniak. Daniak takes the mark as well. No, she doesn't play on there. She was about to. Looking for a better option in the forward 50. There she goes down the line towards Stellard, who contests. Clark with the ball, handball out. Parker, Daniak, ball goes past them. Davey collects it, comes out wide to Lanigan. But is it Bella Davies comes in to disrupt that. Milne with a good handball. Again, lots of pressure here. Davey with a handball out, and Bryant and Sexton help it over the line.
So what both Southport last week and Bond so far today have done well, Aspley have been brilliant all year at creating space through that quick handballing, being able to clear the contest. But they've basically not allowed them to get the space. They haven't just been putting pressure on the ball carrier, they've been putting pressure on the ball receiver. And Aspley's handball receives this year have been off the chart, but the top sides have done their homework on them as Taylor goes to ground. It gets a little push from Perry.
So Pengelly started in the ruck for Aspley. Now Coa's gone in there. She just muscled her way into that contest, and she's won that contest as well. So maybe there's a positive move there in the ruck duties for Aspley.
Davey going deep inside 50, looking for Stallard, just scoops it out towards McDonough. Had to come a long way back. Sexton takes a tumble. McDonough shutting down the space on Blair, and we should have the ball up on the 50. Been pointed out by a learned colleague to the other side of me that one of the runners for Bond University today is the mother of Havana Harris, who is doing well to disguise her constant pride as she gallivants around the field.
Koa again gets to the front of that contest in the ruck and gets the ball. It's a loose ball moving around, but Aspley have got hands on it. No, a little bit of a fumble, and there'll be another ruck contest. It really does feel like whoever gets on top in these ball ups and clearances might have an advantage here today, Daniel.
Well, there's an eerie similarity to the setup here as to how Bond scored their goal at the other end to Havana Harris a few minutes ago. Knocked wide, may create a bit of space. Picked up by Sexton, but the early work was done by Lightfoot. Comes out the back to Davidson. She clears with a check side kick. Up towards Davies. Davies knocking it behind Ernst. Ernst way too experienced. I think she's the only player on the ground with an AFLW premiership as Nolan clears up towards Kaslar, who played in the grand final but wasn't able to win it. Knocks it forward, getting away from O'Connor. Khalija goes wide. Little dinky kick up towards Nolan. Kawa working hard. Nolan's knocked it forward. It hasn't been pretty from Bond University, but they've just made maybe 80 or 90 metres by whatever means possible.
Yes, I think that description was right. It wasn't pretty, but they're now in a dangerous position with 2.5. Well, no, it's time on, so we're well into time on now. So we're in red time, but Kawa's really made a difference in the ruck there. However, Bond have got the quick clearing away, snap kick. It's bounced back towards the goals to give them a chance, but it's rolled through, changed direction 3 or 4 times on its pathway there, through for a point to Bond.
Yeah, technically that's a behind to Mia Salisbury, so that'll muck up her goal-kicking statistics, but there's, I think that might not have been a shot.
Is it an effective kick if you kick a point to win the game?
That's a very good question, and this is where we need to employ someone from Champion Data. Is bit of tumble over on the side here as Thompson clears, but just off camera, Landwehr, Tallis and Davey all came together and just had an interesting kind of meeting. But up towards centre half forward, where Perry will take an uncontested mark. They're looking to switch the play, but Bond are awake to it, and they have cut off this near side. In fact, Parker through the middle. Parker on a narrow angle. Siren's gone. And misses to the left. That could have been a spectacular ending to the quarter. It was fairly good as it was. Quarter time in the preliminary final. Bond University 2-2-14 lead the Aspley Hornets 1 behind. Thank you for joining us at Zups Aspley Oval for the preliminary final here on the official AFLQ YouTube channel. Bond University probably had slightly the better of territory, but they definitely had the better of the scoreboard in the first quarter. Bond 2-2-14, goals to Leah Kaslar and Havana Harris. Aspley just the one minus score. My name is Daniel Viles. With me is Adrian Richardson. Adrian, it's not as though it was it wasn't a 13-point breeze, because there isn't really any breeze. Bond just really shut down Aspley's space.
Yeah, look, that's right, and I think you mentioned it right at the start. The territory wasn't that different. Aspley had a few chances to put some score on the board. They just didn't have those same finishing touches that Bond did at the other end. So, yeah, look, 13-point difference on the scoreboard, but it could be a lot closer. And
certainly a reversible lead, and for better and worse, and Luke Glacken just hit the mute button for about 5 seconds. Aspley's starts have been an Achilles heel over the last couple of years, but the rejoinder to that is that their finishes have been quite astonishing at times. You can turn the sound back on now, Luke. Although if the sound was off, you wouldn't have heard me say that. Get on with it, Daniel.
So Kawa starting off in the ruck this quarter. So as I said, that was a key move or element that occurred in the first quarter. So it'll be interesting to see how we start here.
I think Pengeli's so important in defence. They're reluctant to move her out. As Maisie Evans goes into the ruck for Bond, taking a break from Harris. They will switch throughout the day. Kawa overran it. Tyson tried to draw the free kick. Didn't get one, and have got no issue with that. Maisie Evans again. Possibly won the hit out, but it was Kawa who went away from it. Through to Perry. Probably Aspley's most involved midfielder so far. Looking for Hung. Almost bounced too well towards her. McDonough crashing through the pack. Hit it at speed. McDonough again with the left foot. It's her natural foot. Looking up towards Stallard. Very well done by Davidson at the back. Takes it wide of goal. Still going. Milne. Back to Lightfoot. And that is a bomb defused by Jasmine Davidson.
But the clearing kick is picked up by Aspley, who had a few waiting there. Pumps it back straight into the forward 50. Bit of a contest there, ball rolling around on the ground. Quick handball out. Aspley almost still in control as Milne wrestles the ball to the ground. I think it is Tyson there as well. And a ball up ensues.
Tyson's worked hard, just hasn't really cut loose so far.
This ball bumps around a little bit. A little Aspley handball out the back. Aspley get the kick away into a dangerous position. Taylor's running through, meets it head on. Vanderweel with the tackle. Ball drops out again on the ground. Bond with the handball. Aspley with the handball. Aspley with another handball. Kick up high by Hung. Sallard's got to run up this one, but it's 1v3. Aspley almost had the keys there to open the goal, but a quick kick out to Bond as they clear and onto the wing to Collegia.
Collegia on the right wing. 2-on-2, Harris. Harris moving away, kicks to space. There's no one inside 50. O'Connor nearly took a wonderful mark over the shoulder. Kaslar wrestling hard, goes back to Harris. Harris will put it forward. Only Bond has a player goal side. It's Collegia. Gets a decent bounce. Ernst can't get there in time. And Ella Collegia misses to the right. And it's only disappointing for her because we know how good she is.
Yeah, golden opportunity there. But, I mean, Aspley had a golden opportunity. The ball just caught the fingertips of McDonough, I think it was, as she was going through just a minute ago, as Aspley play on from full back and bring it out to the commentary side.
So hard up against the near boundary line. Jess Davey got it in field towards Tyson. Tyson over the top to Kawa. A looping handball to Vanderweel. Well held. Vanderweel hugging the boundary. Inside towards Wat Farah. Balcom attacked it hard. Fell to Salisbury. Wrapped up by McDonough and Barnes. And we're now getting much more open play and that kind of ball running lapse effect that I alluded to in the brilliant profile that I wrote on the AFLW website. Please read it. Balcom coming out. Straight through the middle, through the hands of Nolan. Pittman positioned well. Was able to keep her feet. Got it to Tyson. Jinked. Found O'Flaherty at centre half forward. Going back towards Stallard. Stallard hasn't been able to take a mark inside 50 today. Was given a bit of assistance by Barnes. Everyone hits the deck. But so far, that one-on-one battle, Jasmine Davidson is winning, and that would be a tremendous scalp.
I suppose the slight change is as Davison took a mark or two early, at least Stellard's now been at least bringing the ball to ground. So it's halved it a little bit, and now we need the Aspley small forwards to get on the job underneath.
And Barnes has read that script. Wap Farah, well, sometimes her best role's to be in space and sometimes it's to crumb, and I'm going to leave that to her. Knocking around inside 50, no one really with any control. No genuine clearance, and Tyler Hickson nearly had time to circumnavigate the pack before he blew the whistle.
There's certainly no easy goals at the moment, Daniel. Both teams really scrapping for it as the ball goes up again. Harris and Hung were in there. Lightfoot with the handball that gets smothered and held in by 3 tacklers. It's been a lot of 3 tacklers today so far, I've noticed.
Well, they're shutting down each other's space, aren't they? Because they know what happens when you don't shut down the space of either Bond University or Aspley. Been lethal.
Tyson over the ball there, gets the free kick for kicking in danger as she goes back just outside 50, so I'd suggest too far out to score, but looking for the best option, which might be Stellard. Doesn't have Davidson on her this time. And what happened? Well, she got to the front, got hands on it, but just wasn't able to hold it. Wap Farah with a great tackle on Lightfoot.
And Blashak takes a mark over the boundary. But once again, there it was Sophie Balcom who, it's been undone now, but it was Balcom who put pressure on Davidson, but can't prevent the shot on goal. There were simply too many Hornets in the right place. They supported each other well.
So I think it's Stellard here on the boundary line. She looks to be setting up for a drop punt, which is a little bit unusual nowadays from that type of position, but we'll see what she likes it off the boot. Great celebration early there. I think that one might be the one they needed, I think.
Now the preliminary final starts. Both teams have a goal on the board. As I say, there's no meteorological reason why all the goals have been to the right of screen down at the Bowls Club end. But again, I think Aspley, that's probably 2 things there. Firstly, it's the most forward pressure they've applied. Before, when they've had deep entries, and that was the second point I was going to make, because while they've had a few inside 50s, about only 3 or 4 have been genuinely deep, whereas more of Bond's entries have been much closer to goal. But that's the most forward pressure that they've applied as a pack so far in this game, and it's yielded a result.
Yeah, it was just good to see Stellard sticking with her trusted, tried and true technique there with the drop punt as the ball goes up again. Tyson comes through. Harris ends up with it. Kicks wide. Kassler running onto it with Ernst right beside her out to the boundary line, and another throw in we will get on the far side of the ground, left hand side of screen, 50 metres out from Bond's goal.
The matchups here, Ernst and Kaslar played against each other in the 2018 AFLW Grand Final. I'm not ruling out Harris and Hung playing against each other in the 2030 AFLW Grand Final, in a Q-Clash Grand Final. The generations on show, all in the Bond University QAFLW. Kaslar on the ground, inside 50, wrapped up by O'Flaherty. That'll be a ball up. It's another thing about Havana Harris. I mean, she has the advantage of when she starts as a ruck, when she gets the bit between the teeth, as it goes deeper inside 50, I'll hold that thought. Up towards Maisie Evans. Knocked aside by Davies. Davies off target. But yeah, when she decides, right, it's time to respond, Harris will just do it. Davies, I was impressed with her 2 goals last week, precisely because they weren't pretty. The first one, she knocked it by hand and foot 40 metres, and in the end it went through off the sole of the boot. And I feel like just capturing that and putting the word determination at the bottom and turning it into a meme.
Oh, that's a bit of a UFO, but it goes straight to Perry, who snags it close to her chest.
Well, it is Twilight.
Comes out further wide.
As it comes to Pengelly. Sorry for interrupting your play there, Adrian.
No, you're good. You go.
So Pengelly here on the near side. Looking for O'Flaherty in the middle. Just over her head, Harris. And off half a step, she sends it 40 metres. Not the direction she wanted. Lanigan enjoys a late lunch. Has Ernst wide. Bit of pressure on her from Milne. And Milne, because the kick was slightly short, Milne's endeavour was rewarded. Although she did... Was that put hands in the back? High contact?
In the back.
In the back. Thank you. Cheers.
And I think we have a blood rule over there now with Ernst has some blood on her knee, so we'll have a little rest before we get play resuming.
Very qualified woman, Dr. Ernst, but that's not her specialty, so she'll come off to see the physios. But yeah, she is gynecologist and obstetrician. Brilliant woman in many, many spheres of life. And that will be, no, not a 50. I think Mitch Blashak acknowledges that there was a bit of communication confusion, so Pengelly will just take the normal free kick at left half back.
Surveys their options up forward. Gets asked to play on, so drives it long, 40 metres. Kawa up in the contest, gets the hands on it, comes over the back. Aspley pick up. They've got a wave of runners here now. Tyson has the one bounce. Oh, bad bounce. Thought she might have known the ground a little bit better than this. That time, Hung with a bit of a don't argue, but gets caught, and that'll be paid. As soon as they put the hand out and try to brush the tackle, it's a sign to the umpire to say, if you do not get rid of it, it will be paid against.
Brilliant work from Bella Davies. She made her first grade debut round 11. With the injuries happening at Bond University, in fact, that was Gemma Blair. I normally mix her up with Bella Ivarak, so it's good to see I've found something new to do. But it's turned over. Hung. I'll find another opportune time to talk about Davies and her influence on this side, because with her and Bronte Parker coming in, it's meant that it's given Bond some rare stability. It's just been knocked forward by Bond by any means possible, and I suppose in a very literal sense, Eloise O'Connor's even helping them move forward.
Parker strong in the contest there that time as Harris and Kawa go up again. Clark out the back, so gets a little hook foot out wide, about 30 metres. Davies runs onto it, but lets that out there, Mayer. Kicks it inside, dribbles inside 50. Sexton picks it up, another dribbling type kick. Perry's in the way, comes back out, looking for a teammate out there, gets the handball away. Daniak's running onto it. Intercepted by Bond, handball intercepted back again by Aspley. Who's got it out there now? Bond. Mayer's fumbling around with it with Sexton. Mayer again turns, kicks it inside 50. Contest down there. Kawa gets another fist in. Ball's on the ground. Looks to be trapped under players. And no, the call is somebody jumped on top of it. Who was that? The Bond player?
Yeah, Bronte Parker jumped on it. And she's another one who's coming to this side late. Maybe they don't call that in reserve grade, but they do now. That's a bit cruel, but, yeah, why not? So Aspley playing back across their own goal, which they don't mind doing. That's uncharacteristically long, and in the end, it made Emma Pittman work very hard. She was up to it. As Pittman will come near side, hugging the boundary line, looking for Danietz. And Courtney Danietz. She pronounces it Daniek, her parents say Danietz, and so I go full-on Polish for her. Taken by Ari Clark. Began the year in forward, now playing inside mid, and back in about 2016 or so, she was in this comp's team of the year as a back pocket. Goes inside 50, nearly taken by, I think it was the flying Harris. Parker putting pressure on as Bond again trying to just work their way wide. Parker pushed over by a couple of Hornets. O'Connor. You can probably hear the call of numbers in the effects mic as Bronte Parker has been getting through a mountain of work in the last couple of minutes.
Still plenty of pressure being applied by both teams here as the ball scrambles out away from Bond's goal, but Bond have control of the ball. Is it Nolan out there? Chips it inside to an Aspley. Oh, an Aspley player, and I believe Emma McNaughton may get a... Is she going to get rewarded with a 50 there for an indiscriminate tackle after the mark or not? No.
Well, what I think happened is she was in the process of slipping and Landwehr had her arm around the shoulder, and I think it was just momentum.
No, it looked a bit awkward, it did, but no, she played on there. Vanderweel kicks it inboard. Bond backline just working cohesively, squirts it back out. Daniels does well in that. I've gone with Daniels there, Daniel.
I like it.
Back to Bond. Bond kick it back on. We've got a mark there by Parker, who plays on, goes long, and Maisie Evans in front. Brings it down. Bond with a handball. Nolan, but being warned by a glove, and Aspley wrap that up and say, umpire, another ball up, please.
Alana Perry, number 7 for Aspley, is another one who has made, well, she won a grand final playing in the back pocket, but she's inside midfielder by trade. Up towards Hung. Just a bit of a handling error. I think she spent that ball before she actually got it. And yes, I'm glad you picked up on Maisie Evans before. But, earlier when I said, is that Harris? It wasn't. And I keep forgetting that, first of all, Maisie Evans has had an excellent year. Secondly, she's actually 4 centimetres taller than Havana Harris. And I think every time someone comments on Havana's height, she goes, oi, over here. Bit of miscommunication as thought it was Balcom. It's not. That's Samuels, left-footed. All the way back to Parker again. Plays a 1-2 with Clark. Parker goes centrally. Aerial contest. O'Connor seemed to blow away from her in the air. The outer zone umpire has spotted a free kick to Bond. There was a bit of contact that the officiating umpire wasn't in a position to see. So good teamwork from the men in line. As Davies cross to Evans. Just gets the kick away in time, but the pressure definitely had an effect. Defensive mark not taken, but enough bodies around the ball. Lanigan's able to clear to her left. Gets Lightfoot on the half volley. She has to retreat, has Nolan inside, uses her. Good pressure from Davey, however, and a floating kick is marked by Maisie Evans.
As Maisie Evans takes a little bit of a breath, goes short out wide. I'm guessing it's Nolan out there who was in play just 5 seconds earlier. Kicks it longer down to Maya. It's getting a little bit difficult to see here. I might pass it back to you, Daniel.
Out on the full in the pocket. And yes, it's good that you're seeing how we commentators suffer here, Adrian. The conditions that we have to... Yeah, quit your whinging, Daniel. You're a privileged man. So, Aspley in a ground in twilight. It's a beautiful sight, regardless of any visual difficulties, but it's Bond moving forward well just inside the 50. No clean possessions, but Salisbury was able to get it back to Nolan. McDonough sweated on it, came all the way back to Moody, has Clark inside. Pumps it inside 50. Pengelly came from a long way back. Goes to Hewitt. Hewitt with the shot from about 30 out. Well taken on the line by Kawa. She will come near side, looking for O'Connor. The slingshot play is on from Aspley. Wat Farah coming wide. She wants to be on the end of this one. Yet again, Sophie Balcom attacks the contest, affects it, and sends it back the other way. Inside 50. An off break. Comes back to Davies, courtesy of a bit of ineffective volleyball. Back on the 50, breaking free from the contest is Kaslar, has been very involved tonight. The shot from Taylor is swinging, clears everyone, marked in the goal square by Talia Meyer. She'll go back for the shot. Superb pass from Taylor, who effectively it was a check side kick.
Looked like it was going to go through herself, that kick, but I believe there is a tiny breeze probably that pulled it up. And
as Talia Meyer goes back for the shot, Bond extends its lead 3-1, and their premiership defence is looking just that little bit tighter. Sorry, Adrian Richardson.
No, that's fine. Yeah, look, Meyer slipped in there deep and was there on her own, so was able to take a safe mark in the goal square. I think I might put in a written application, Aspley. I need some prescription glass here to look through. I'm not sure if it comes in this size, but we'll see what we can get our hands on.
No, if I win lottery, which might require playing it, we're going to get the best broadcast boxes, but not about us. You might recall, I think Talia Meyer scored the last goal of the match for Queensland against Tasmania. Very similar situation where she'd snuck forward from the wing into the goal square, took the mark, and the goal itself wasn't spectacular. The spectacular bit was getting there in the first place.
I'll take your word for that. As it goes up again, Evans and Pengelly. Tyson gets a hands on it, a handball. The Aspley handball when close has been good. They've just got to finish it off now. Small squirty kick out, goes to half forward. McDonough over the ball with her Bond Uni opponent, and it's another ball up there.
Lexi Samuels.
Samuels was held it in there.
That's an all left-footed contest, McDonough versus Samuels, and regardless, I mean, I hope both of them go on to higher honours, but if they don't, and I'm still in this competition, I don't say still, I love this competition, then we're going to see a lot from them as long as they want to play. Both very talented players.
Evans and Pengelly for the third time in 20 seconds. Handball out, but the siren beats us.
An entertaining, free-flowing quarter, but 1 goal each, which means that Bond University maintains and indeed just by a small amount extends its advantage. Bond University 3-4-22, goals to Kaslar, Harris and Meyer. Aspley 1-1-7, their goal scored by Jess Stallard, a set shot on a narrow angle. It's Bond Uni by 15 points at half-time in the 2024 preliminary final. Can Aspley come back from this? I suggest you look at the corresponding match 12 months ago when they did pretty much that at Fankhauser Reserve. Thank you for your company tonight. We hope you're enjoying this tense, athletic, brilliant preliminary final here on the official AFLQ YouTube channel.
Inside this building is a simulated hospital ward, a high-tech biomechanics lab, a commercial kitchen, and a whole virtual home. Let's explore the new Bond Institute of Health and Sport in just 61 seconds. This is the 12-bed simulation hospital ward. From day one, Bond students gain hands-on experience in allied health and exercise science. This is the Work Play Lab, which gives students the opportunity to provide occupational therapy for our youngest, while the Activities of Daily Living Lab simulates a full home environment, giving students the chance to practice mobility work with our wisest. From sprinting to golf swings, this track can track it. Using pressure sensors and high-speed cameras, it can analyze anything from age-related conditions to elite sports training. Wow. The Kitchen Lab has solar-powered sustainable cooking stations, giving postgrad nutrition and dietetic students access to commercial-grade equipment.
Thank you.
Why don't you come and check out the Bond Institute of Health and Sport for yourself? Did you know Bond students have been in every Olympics since '92? How do they do it? I've got 61 seconds to race you through the life of a student in the Bond Elite Sport program. Strap in. Bond is known for its prowess in the sporting domain, supporting student athletes like Mia. Student athletes have access to flexible study loads, adjusted academic requirements, and tutoring. The top tier of student athletes even receive funding to assist with their travel and competition costs. Bond also runs 4 high-performance sporting programs that field competitive teams. There's netball, rugby, AFL, and swimming. With incredible facilities throughout campus, it means you can easily transition from this to this. Whether it's producing world-class athletes or offering scholarships to high-achieving students every single year, sport is alive and well at Bond University.
saw you try and I didn't mind because I could see that you were trying to do, and I thought, no, we're not going to have time. Just, we cut our losses, so, and again, like I never want to be the kind of commentator who go, oh, this is awful, so I'm leaving, or anything like that. But it's more, it's just that it's been brought to their attention 3 times, so that's my suggestion.
I'm also going to suggest to the boss who will organise the rosters and that sort of stuff, because we have a roster and it gives us a description of the venues, and so it has like this place here, but every AFL thing doesn't have a commentator description.
Correct, yes.
So I'm going to suggest that
in your ground info, just have,
and I mean, like we get the camera operators to write it, so there might be then next year that information is still right. This one, if the idea does get passed, this one I'll feel like this one.
First of all, thank you. Secondly, in the men's competition field, Aspley now finished first on the table, so there'll be a finals match here in I think 2 weeks' time. So it needs to be, and there will be commentary probably for the game. So it needs to be done for that. So again, that's not you, Harrison, that's
If I'm the one on it, I'll make sure.
but the other thing we'll do is, Adrian, who's the commentator, he is the manager of the competition. So he will also probably coordinate as well. You still do what you'll do, but Ben, don't you dare.
Get me involved. Every Saturday.
As soon as Adrian gets up here, I will talk for a bit. So we'll start, but you won't hear a word from him for a while. So that's all right.
Bond on him now, so.
Somehow the time just evaporates though. Like I think I know we've got ages yet, then suddenly we don't.
Right, 3, 2, 1, live.
Half-time in the preliminary final. The hurt locker of the Bond University QAFLW. Aspley missed out in the minor premiership on percentage only. They now find themselves 15 points down at half-time of the preliminary final to the reigning premiers, Bond University. 3 goals to the Bull Sharks. Kaslar, Harris and Talia Meyer. Jess Stallard, the solitary goal for Aspley, scored in the 6th minute of the second quarter. My name's Daniel Viles. Before I cross to Adrian Richardson, next Sunday, 8 days from now, congratulations to AFL Queensland. Yes, they pay me, but I'm not an employee, so I'm technically neutral. The grand final in the Bond University QAFLW, first grade and reserve grade, will be at People First Stadium at Carrara. We have never had the QAFLW grand final at a venue that large. We've had the men's grand final there a couple of times. I think 2019 was the most recent. But to have that ground, a ground of that calibre, available for these amazing players who I've fallen in love with over the past 4 years, and hopefully you have as well. It's a wonderful thing. So, Adrian, I'm not sure whether most congratulations needs to go to you or Mitch Simpson, but next week, midday for the reserves, 2:30 for the first grade. Congratulations, well done, and thank you for securing a Commonwealth Games host venue for the Bond University QAFLW Grand Final.
I'll take the credit for it, Daniel.
Go
Thanks
for it.
very much.
What's Simpson ever done, honestly?
Correct. No, that'd be wrong of me. Absolutely, the leadership in there at AFL Queensland have obviously done very well there. And look, I mean, in general, it's our strategy that we want the best games in the best venues available. So both the People First Stadium and now the Brighton Homes Arena as well for the QAFLW Grand Final on mid-September on a Sunday as well. This year it just takes our games to the higher level and the better venues, and they are a spectacle. So, no, we're all very happy with that.
And, of course, we're talking about Southeast Queensland here. It's wonderful to have these venues. I think we've looked rather enviously, and, of course, this comes under the remit of AFL Queensland as well, but the way that the Mackay competition can use Harrop Park or Great Barrier Reef Arena, the way that Kazales will get used, the way that Riverway Stadium will get used, it's so great that players across Queensland, I know I've left plenty of venues out there, can play on the big stages, some of which, of course, have hosted games at the very highest level. Yeah,
no, it's always a fantastic experience, and, you know, there's something all the players will remember in years to come.
Southport has already booked its ticket to People First Stadium next Sunday. There's only one left, and both these teams want it. Third quarter action. As Carwell makes her way out of the middle, was held off the ball. She will win a free kick against Harris. Is very level-headed. Kawa played some big matches for Williamstown in Victoria, from Ballarat originally. There's Jamie Bryant, Northern Territorian, on the left wing. Zags, and finds a target in Davey. Davey up towards the goal square. Knocked away by Bond, but Wat Farah could be first there. McNaughton hovering as well. Milne out of defence. Played so little defence at this level and looks like a natural. Ernst got front position. There was a push, and the fact that she barely looked like she was pushed, I think, speaks to the physical strength of Tiana Ernst. Good to see she's patched up after having to come off for blood as well. Yeah, little front-on contact there, called by umpire Higson, so certainly there as Ernst surveys her options forward. However, no kissing right. Evans goes underneath it. Pittman ends up with the ball. Handball forward. Davey with it now. Zigzags again. Kick inside 50. Stellard and Davidson, the contest. Davidson gets a nice punch away, and Clark escorts the ball over the boundary line. Jess Davey gives us a nice segue into other grand finals. We will have live stream and commentary of the QFAW grand finals. Of course, Jess Davey, an absolute legend at the Moreton Bay Lions Club, who, well, they won't be playing QFAW grand finals anymore as of next year, because they're one of two teams coming up into this competition, the Bond University QAFLW. As Aspley looking to start this third quarter, not just dominant in field position, which they are so far, but by narrowing that 15-point gap. They did it against Southport last year, but it's Bond who comes away. They'll come near side. Nolan, it's amazing how many marking contests she wins. Went for a hack kick. 50-50 call for mine. It will just be a boundary throw-in, no issue there, because it's totally about what I think. Irony.
Game still being played contest to contest here. A lot of ball ups, a lot of throw-ins. So it's all starting with Kawa and Harris again here. Kawa with a bit of force from behind. Ball comes down in front. Harris, Tyson with the handball out. Aspley's had their hands on it from the contest a lot with the handball. Tyson intercepts. Just leaves the ball behind. Perry now with the nest of bull sharks there. Is it a nest of bull sharks? But the ball goes out of bounds on the floor, and Aspley will take the kick.
Two things there. Firstly, it's a pod, and secondly, it's Izzy McDonough with the triple effort. I don't think she got a disposal in all of that as the ball comes in from Tyson and hits Carver on the chest, but she would have got 3 pressure acts. And very important player is she.
Not a school of bull sharks.
That may be a lesser known one, but I'm going to go with pod. And as it comes through to Wat Farah, we'll leave collective nouns unknown for the moment. Still no marks taken, and the defence is strong in the goal square. Again, Davidson with the tackle, as Bond will work it out through the pocket. And Jasmine Davidson is a large part of the reason why Aspley only have 2 scoring shots so far in this prelim.
Yep, against a lesser opponent, I'm sure Stellar would have grabbed that one and kicked her second, but unfortunately not to be, as Clark clears the kick to the commentary wing, and Kalesia and Ernst.
Yeah, not many players
for the ball.
Sorry, not many players can stop Kalesia from taking a mark like that, but Ernst is one of them. And of course, you say Stallard would have taken that mark against lesser players. I think when it comes to key defenders in this competition, you could put up a fair argument to say that everyone's a lesser player to Jasmine Davidson this year. I'm a big fan, just in case that wasn't clear. Harris got front position. Kawa plucked it away from Nolan. Beautiful handballing through Tyson to O'Flaherty. Looking into space. Stellard's come a long way back. In fact, that might be McNaughton. Apologies. It is McNaughton. She drives it forward, looking for the original. Stellard takes the mark, finally. It has taken until the 5th minute of the 3rd quarter for Stellard to get an inside 50 mark, never mind one inside scoring distance. It's not an easy kick. Sorry, it's not a difficult kick from a technical perspective, but in terms of the context of the match, that adds weight.
And I'm sure you weren't suggesting that was a slight on the way Stellard's been playing. As we've just been saying, the contest has been fantastic down there between the two, the key back and the key forward. So, look, the tables have turned a little bit on that one, so we might...
Stellard splits the sticks. And for any neutrals watching, that is exactly the start to the 3rd quarter that you want and need. 2nd goal for Aspley, 2nd goal to Stellard. Thank you for backing me up there, Adrian.
So
Yes.
it continues the trend of what we talked about during the 2nd quarter. Early on in the game, Davidson took a few marks to start the game off. Stellard then was making sure the ball came to ground, and now we've gotten to the point where Stellard's plucked that one, almost the one before that. So there has been a slight change, which is fantastic, and Aspley are obviously very much in this game. 9 points between them, and isn't it hotting up in the commentary box as well?
It's our job to ride the game with the players, and we hope you're riding this game too, wherever you're watching this from. You could be a family member in Victoria, maybe in Ballarat somewhere. You could be an AFLW coach with a home in Switzerland. Doesn't matter. We hope you're enjoying the coverage of the Bond University QAFLW as Bond University get the clearance. Ernst with the punch, didn't quite make contact. The Bond University forwards, it comes back. Brilliant smother off the boot of Collegia. That was Lanigan with the smother. And Morgan Lanigan, not one of the more heralded defenders in this side, but everyone in brown and gold around the club knows her value. Played her 100th senior game for the club last year. I think about 80-something of those have been in 1st grade. It's in front of me, but I'm trying to watch the game. There'll be a ball up between square and arc.
Again, we see Kawa and Harris doing the ruck work at these contests, and geez, it's a 50-50 at the moment. They're both doing a great job in there, and the follow-up that they provide as well. They're both ready tacklers as well once the ball comes clear. One's been plucked out there to Harris, who's about to send the ball deep inside the forward 50 as she looks for the best option. That is a great kick. Right to the top of the goal square, but it's escorted over the line, and a little bit of a tackle there in the hands of Thompson. Or is it? No, free kick's been played. It was too high.
Definitely over the shoulder, and Thompson did superbly.
Fair enough there. Parker just reaching out a little bit high for the shoulders as Thompson clears the kick. Back towards the rucking couple to contest. Stray handball met with Aspley hands. Ball just bobbles around on the ground a little bit. Davies over the top of it, comes out towards the boundary line, fighting hard with McDonough. And I think that one's going to be another ball up.
Just a little bit of feistiness as the players emerged, but first of all, I don't think there was much there, and secondly, they know what's on the line, as Milne just couldn't control the ball at the back of the contest. Boundary throw-in, of which, Adrian, you were mentioning before, there haven't been too many of those in this match, which, considering this is one of the narrower grounds in the competition, I think speaks as much to the skill and the intent of both sides.
Intent to using the middle of the ground. I've just noticed there's a little bit going on around the ball now, so one of the teams has certainly said, you know, we need to put that pressure on, and it's being done. As was that Sexton or Nolan, one or the other? Sexton it was. Driven in close to the goals. Great fist there by Ernst, who's been absolutely fantastic in the back line. We seem to be calling her name a lot.
Well, as she was named as Aspley's best in the final last week. Oh, we have a player down in front. It might be Davey. Jess Davey is just holding her left arm, holding her left elbow. And we'll keep an eye on her because it's, I mean, let's not even look forward to a possible grand final. That is a big injury now.
It's like right elbow at the moment. It's hard to tell. I mean, she's hiding it well, but it could be right elbow.
I do know my left from my right. I just thought she was holding the other elbow.
Well, I mean, her left shoulder was strapped, so obviously you can normally default to that, but yeah, it looked like the other one.
No, I think you're right. But it's Bond University on the attack. Aspley's diffused one goal, and the boundary line is their friend as they stop it again. It's funny, I think you were talking about the physicality. Neither Andy Lovell nor Luke Glacken promote anything resembling dirty play, but neither of them take a backward step either. And I think they like players in their side who are made of pretty much similar material. Harris got front position, went to hands, and then there was contact away from the ball. This will be an interesting call. It's a free kick to Bond. This is huge. It's gone to Bronte Parker. So say, not been in first grade long. I think she was just enjoying perhaps a successful year in reserve grade. Maybe she had ambitions, but she's got a shot on goal in the preliminary final. Needs to come back to the left. That snuck through. She's done enough. And Bronte Parker has restored the lead for Bond University as they retain the front position for the grand final berth.
A lot of Bond Uni players getting down to congratulate her after that goal that just snuck in. Almost looked like it was going to shave the right-hand goal post, but snuck in, and Bond have just opened up a little buffer again of 15 points.
Which was the half-time lead. It's just been a goal apiece in this quarter.
But I mean, the script of the play, it's been very similar. Contest, squirt ball out, forward, something happens, and it's been continuous. So
all the goals have been constructed, haven't they? Like, there's been no just sudden run against the play. They've all had a 2 or 3 minute setup. Bursting out of the middle, O'Flaherty. We've seen her do that a few times over the years. Puts it forward towards the hot spot. Needs a mark on the end of it. Doesn't get one. Gets front position, however, as it's chased through by Barnes. Tried to sock her. Kick was blocked. No space given. Moody handballs back deep into the pocket. That'll be cleared by Samuels. Mark was dropped by Meyer. Gives Aspley another chance. The boundary line is Bond's friend on this occasion. And that could have been slick. Holly O'Flaherty scored a goal like that in the elimination final last year. We were talking how all the goals had been sort of worked hard for and constructed, whereas that for a minute there looked like it was going to be one out of the middle. So as Aspley gained control of the ball, Hung goes back onto the right-hand side, but the ball drops out. Landwehr picks up, heads back out to the wing. Bond player in front. No, free kick back behind play. Ariana Clark's been caught behind play with a little bit of indiscriminate contact by the look of it. And the Aspley play with her arms up there, is that Hung?
Is it Hung, is it?
Lilu Hung, yeah. Who has this distance, not always accurate from this distance, but mind you, I think that's going to come in the course of her career.
I think we talked about this, no, it was with Wap Farah, but it might have been Hung as well at Cooperoo, and technique under pressure, and I believe Hung was one of the ones with great technique, but she's gone short, looking for the player coming out from forward. Ball scraps around on the ground a little bit. Landwehr, handball across. Another handball, and I think that's Blair coming away with the left foot.
Yeah, Moody to Blair. And Grace Moody's so calm in that situation. She's regularly the middle link in a lot of Bond counter-attacks, where she's the one who's able to help clear. But they're way up on the left now, as that tackle was just over the shoulder. But I don't think any coach would mind the desperation from Perry. Nolan with a free kick in the dark. On the far side, gets it to Clark. I saw AFL Clark in the dark. Just thought I'd throw that in. Talia Meyer. About 5 people will get that reference. Moving it forward. Came through to Parker, goal scorer. Just missed the target of Hewitt at left half forward.
Out of bounds on the full. The Aspley 50-metre defence. Is that Thompson with the ball out there, about to kick the ball back inside to an Aspley teammate? Is it?
That's Pittman.
Pittman brings it inside to Tyson. A little bit off the ball there as well, but Tyson claims that. She's coming across to this side of the ground.
Beautiful from Tallis.
Off and running, drives the ball inside. Is that...
There was McNaughton before. He comes through, sorry, Tallis at the back of the pack. Tallis will drive it forward, looking for the target inside 50. The lead, it seemed to almost go through the arms. Snap kick from McNaughton. Emma McNaughton. The goals today have been hard work. That is as spectacular as anything we've seen tonight. Driven forward from Aspley. Wonderful counter through the middle of the field. Superb work from Maddie Tallis early in the play. Aspley not going away as though that was ever a chance.
The contest at centre-half forward threw me off a bit. I thought it was Stellard through the dark, dirty window looking out there, but it wasn't. She was
I hope you didn't mind me taking over there for you.
She was nesting further forward in the goal square. So I think it was it McDonough or Mick Norton that and then Tallis continued with the run and Aspley much needed goal that's kept them in touch.
I've seen Tallis do that a few times this year where she is able to take the ball in such a way that she can split the defence with her next move. The other player I see do that a bit is Megan Fogus of Southport, where they're thinking the next move ahead. Yeah, well, the ball that was, the off the ground just prior to that was very impressive by Tallis, so great involvement there. O'Flaherty's run too far there, trying to get balanced on her left foot. And that was Talia Meyer, I think, who was putting the pressure on, a combination of her and Clark. It's those pressure acts that coaches love, where you don't get a stat for them.
Clark looks at what she's got up ahead, drives it long towards the Bond forwards that go up. Parker on the ground with Perry. Neither of them are going to win that one. Ball, umpire says, give it to me. I will ball it up again. Evans and Kawa. Kawa moves in Aspley's direction. Meyer runs onto it, swings around. Pressure from Tyson. Parker drives it down into the forward line. Boundary side, and that also kicks to the right and out of bounds.
Just looking at Aspley's forward structure, it's actually Watt Farah who's gone to the full forward position. Emma McNaughton in the hole, as it were, and Jess Stallard at centre half forward. But it's Aspley with the ball in their own left back pocket. Comes through to Perry. Not a great kick. Gives her work to do. Was able to get away from Evans. Not able to get away from Evans. And the messy ball has created an opportunity for Bond. And this is yielded a bit. Salisbury misses to the right. She doesn't need much. As I say, her passing disposal efficiency is not so much off. I mean, it's at the top of the chart. It's not quite off the chart. I don't want to build her up too much because that becomes unsustainable. But I am on the Mia Salisbury train.
Yes, awarded a Rising Star award mid-year this year. Been very impressive at a representative level as well. As Thompson drives it long. Kawa been very solid today. Takes a strong mark in front of Evans. Has a look at what she's got up towards the midfield. Looking for the right option. She drives it long as well. 40 metres down to Watt Farah coming out. Just overruns it a little bit. Hung. Handball to Watt Farah, comes back inside, puts herself under a bit of pressure, gets the handball away. They're looking for an out here. Pittman keeps the ball in front, needs to keep the ball in front. Handball back to Tyson, has a little bit of space. She comes wide, kicks it behind back. Is that O'Flaherty there?
That's Lanigan.
Sorry, Lanigan. Tyson runs onto it, got some space, darts back inside, bit of a scrappy kick. Davidson.
I think she outsmarted herself, Tyson, but yeah, Davidson won the battle against Southport, against Stallard. Southport getting a free plug of
Davey back on the ground now too.
Good to see. As Sexton has the ball just on the near side. Keeps it tight, falls into the lap of Vanderweel. Emma Pittman's positioning in the middle of the park before. I don't think she realises how good she is at knowing where to be. First of all, providing the handball option, and then secondly, being able to manoeuvre out of a tight space.
She had 3 Bond girls around her. If she had lost control of that ball, it would have been trouble.
As Jess Davey takes the mark. Is that Balcom down in forward? Balcom's been important tonight, but Davey drives it forward. The mark is taken at right half forward by McNaughton. And we've seen her set shot prowess was killing it in reserve grade for most of this year. Got the call up to firsts just before Jess Stallard went overseas. She has this set shot in her. Emma McNaughton looks great off the boot. Goal umpire has to move too far to the right. Just a minus score. 9-point gap, yes. Put out Gemma Blair. I'll take the far side of the ground, Adrian.
Yeah.
You can have the near side, but it comes back here.
Thanks, Daniel.
Bond University working it out through Sexton, who took a tumble after she kicked it. This will be an interesting call. Allowed to play on. No, it has been called downtown, and I thought that as soon as Sexton let it go. I don't think it was nasty. It was just a tangle of feet. But if you're tracking the player who's just kicked the ball, get out of the way of their feet. Play on over the head of Maisie Evans, which is no mean feat. Comes back to Lightfoot. Lightfoot, bit of a grubber kick, finds Samuels. Has the wraparound from Lightfoot. She's been doing that for a long time and doing it very effectively. Salisbury comes out towards Landwehr.
Landwehr controls the ball, looks at what she's got up forward. Who's that running onto it from Bond? Parker. Great left-hand handball inside. Bond drive it in, but we got Pengelly in front of Harris taking the saving mark. Just says to the rest of the team, just let's hold down a little bit as she's asked to play on. She drives it long. Hung up in front of Lightfoot. Holds position there. Lightfoot just nudges her off. You're not allowed to get rid of the ball like that, Paris. You need... That was a bit of a whack-a-mole type handball by the look of it. So
volleyball serve, perhaps?
Yep. So awarded to Hung, who goes inside. Oh, that's cutting off a lot. Sexton back onto it in front of Bryant. Bryant's been relatively quiet tonight. Relatively, because we normally say her name a lot.
Exactly, and I think because it's been a much tighter game, I mean, she's one of the players whose space Bond would have wanted to mark down. Lilu Hung has the last disposal of the quarter, and Aspley has narrowed the gap. 2-1 in that quarter. They'll need something slightly better than that to at least push this to extra time in the final term. But they didn't come here to play 90 minutes. They came here to play 80 and book a spot in the grand final. But it is Bond University by 9 points, 4-5-29 to 3-2-20 in the preliminary final. The cruelest match of the year. Thank you for joining us on the official AFLQ YouTube channel. 1 quarter left, or maybe longer, but definitely 1 quarter left. Bond University, 15-point lead at half-time, reduced to 9 points at three-quarter time. Bond University's 4 goals to Leah Kaslar, Havana Harris, Talia Meyer and Bronte Parker. 3 goals for Aspley, 2 to Jess Stallard, 1 to Emma McNaughton. My name's Daniel Viles. Thank you so much for your company tonight. With me is Bond University QAFLW competition manager Adrian Richardson. Adrian, we could highlight a whole bunch of players tonight. Who's taken your eye the most, if that's even a phrase?
Yeah, look, you know, we've only got a limited amount of time, so we'll try to keep it narrowed right down. But I think for Aspley, particularly Jasmine Carwer in the ruck has been fantastic. Just her contests around the ball, very, very strong in the contest, and obviously backing up with tackling. Tiana Ernst has been fantastic in the back line. I think Bond might be a little bit further ahead if she wasn't out there tonight. And look, I think what their midfield needs to do, whilst nobody's been poor, they just need to break that zone, break that tackle and get some run. For Bond, it's probably been even more even. But I will mention Sophie Balcom in the back line's been really good. Bronte Parker up forward, but you could list another 10 who have been very, very pivotal. There we go. In their 9-point leads to date.
Thank you very much, Adrian. Yeah, there's other names to throw in there. I think Alana Perry's been excellent, but she's had to be more of a defensive midfielder than a creative midfielder tonight, which is not always the role that she wants, but you do what's required. 4th quarter. In a bit less than 20 minutes, we could see some very, very different emotions here at Zups Aspley Oval. Bond University in their chain strip of white, which is often not a bad idea at night games. The free kick will go to Alana Perry, just behind the circle. Not sure if her daughter Emerson's here tonight, but been a big supporter all year. Pumped forward through the middle. It has been a much more through-the-middle game tonight. They certainly have moved it wide, these sides, but not quite to the extent that they have for most of this year. And I don't think that's a change of play, and I think that's just each side has tried to prevent the other from playing their natural game. Yeah,
they're backing their own skills and trying to use the corridor as Carwer and is it Harris go at it again. A little. I think we've seen this part of the movie already 20 times tonight. It sort of scraps out another ball up called as Carwer and Harris do a little dance again. Tap the ball down at their feet, gets clogged up. We're just waiting for that line breaking action, break a tackle, get a handball, forward handball out, something just to break that congestion.
Harris and Carwer got the hands. I'll just ask you put you on notice for a question. As Sexton had her kick charged down, I think by Daniels it was. Just out wide, Harris is able to regain, goes through Nolan. Bond with a little bit of forward run, up towards Bella Davies, beats the contest. Khalija had front position. Tiana Ernst knocked over by Khalija. Very narrow angle, not the strongest kick. Maisie Evans, using her height, wasn't quite able to get goal side. Enough Hornets defenders. Ernst tackled off the ball. The kick comes in, it's going to go across the face of goal. This may fall for Milne. Milne has about 7 Hornets around her and almost found a way through. Gap out to 10 points. And Adrian, I might ask you that question now. You made a very good observation down at Bond University Oval last week, where at quarter time, Bond's attack noticeably shifted, where they weren't welded into their DNA. They started attacking Cooperoo through the middle, and it yielded immediate results.
Yeah, certainly it was, a little bit windy down there, but it just felt like whichever team last week got a bit of space, they were able to create opportunities, as Aspley are doing here with Watt Farah coming out to the ball, was just unable to hold onto the mark. As the ball bubbles around a little bit, more and more players getting closer to it, and again, a ball up, well done by Lightfoot there. And
Blair before her, I think.
And Samuels was in and around it as well there. Carwer and Harris. Tyson, little dribble kick. Milne runs onto it, takes a bounce, running sideways, just trying to get away. Vanderweel grabs it, kicks the ball into the forward 50. Stella with a great tap to McNaughton. Davidson gets a hand in. Lightfoot's back to help out as always. Just wrestling the ball, moving towards the boundary line and over for a throw-in. In a good spot here for Aspley.
Very much so. We've got a number of very good photographers who hang around the Bond University QAFLW a lot. I hope some of them got Emma McNaughton riding Lightfoot all the way to the boundary line. It's just taken, squeezed inside, looking for anything to get a foot on. McNaughton putting pressure on again. It'll just be a minor score, and the gap is once again 9 points. But no, yeah, between High Flyer Images, Dion, Brooks Sleep, Ben Grimes, I'm going to leave people out. There's Anthony Byron, there's a whole bunch of them.
Harrison Koa contests the ball there. Nolan near the... No, they brings it back inside. A little bit of fumbling. Player tackled. Harris tackled, who was it, Tyson, over the line without the ball, however. So she'll get the ball back. Be driving it inside 50.
You would
looking for a target.
Sorry, Adrian, you would think that Aspley has to score next. They go centrally. That is a brilliant cut-off mark from Paris Lightfoot. That's the value of experience. She knew where that ball was going yesterday. Ran for it early and made it look as though it was a bit simpler than the amount of praise I'm giving it, and then kicked away. Perhaps commentator's curse. Lilu Hung, hard in the pocket, maybe off camera, but Hung back towards the hot spot, looking for the Twin Towers. McNaughton getting towards it, trying to get front position, was held on too well, I think, by Moody, and then wrapped up by Gemma Blair, who I think she's been outstanding tonight, and yet not the best on her team, and I'm trying to praise the whole team there.
No, very controlled with it, particularly her kicking game as she paddles the ball towards the boundary line there, and Watford helps it over as well. Yeah, no, very solid. I mean, you know, most good football teams have a left footer running out of the back line somewhere that can use it and makes good decisions, and I think Gemma is that person for Bond.
And they've got Lexi there as well, so you know, it's always nice to have a spare. Not a reference to Prince Harry, as Ariana Clark works hard in defence.
Aspley trying to make something work here. Another contest, 30 metres out from goal. Nyali Milne wins the hard ball there, scraps the ball out.
And then a fist from Lanigan.
Lanigan and who was it over the top of Lightfoot there? Lightfoot, you don't see her ahead of the ball too often, but she was that time.
Yeah, she scored a goal early this year, her first ever in senior football. I think she scared herself. So I had to put her on social media and scare her some more. That was good fun.
I think she's edging her way up towards the interchange bench, but hasn't quite got there yet.
As Clark shows a defensive prowess. Felder McDonough got the handball in field. O'Flaherty applying pressure. Messy ball. We've had about 4 turnovers. More turnovers than a good bakery. Comes out wide. Lanigan takes it in space. A good shepherd provided by O'Connor.
And to win the game, Aspley needs to make some attacking moves like they just had. Pittman collects it, controls it, kicks a dart into an attacking zone, 20 metres out from goal, and the numbers around the ball just again, if any fumbles being met with tackle pressure. With every Aspley player forward to the centre here, just really looking to pressure.
There is no one in the northern half of the ground. And it's wrong to say that Bond have flooded, but they're certainly paying very close attention.
Nyali Milne just sitting that half a possession off the back of the pack, but she's seen a Tallis on her own. She's moving out away from that position as the ball travels away from the Aspley goal. Get a handball up, Bond tracking it, short kick out to the far side, and I'll hand that over to you, Daniel.
Collegia. Handball back. The initial break was made by Kaslar. Turned over to O'Connor, who in turn turns it over to Samuels. Samuels will keep it wide, looking for Collegia again from the back. Kawa just wasn't able to hold it. Adrian, you and I went out on the ground at half-time. The ground is dry, but it was a little bit cold, which sometimes can have almost the effect of a wet ball. The other thing was the wind is inconsistent. Sometimes it's quite strong, sometimes it dies off completely, but the goals were at the end against where the wind was being blown. So, again, that's just a jumble of information that means not much. There's Maisie Evans back in the ruck. Didn't really get any kind of convincing clearance. And that'll be another ball up pretty much where the last ruck contest was.
I think we're saying it remains anybody's game. However, we've gone through 8 minutes on the clock so far, so Aspley really need that next goal.
Well, the clock is the friend of Bond University right now. It doesn't know it, but you'd rather be 9 points ahead than 9 points behind at this time, which is the least deep thing I'll say all night. At least I hope it is. Salisbury keeps it wide. Lanigan tracking. Didn't quite get as far as that. and ended up in the arms of Taylor, who just so consistent, never lets the team down. And I hope I haven't just cursed her. She has kicked it away, but it was to a contest. And indeed, it worked out well for Bond University. They go inside front 50. O'Connor went for the volley. Not sure it worked. Perry has to clean up. Under a lot of pressure. The cavalry arrives, including O'Connor herself. Kaslar half broke away. Wasn't able to finish it. Perry and Pengelly put it aground.
Yeah, the panic button almost got pushed there by Aspley. A couple of Bond forwards there looked like they were going to run onto a loose ball, but didn't. Kawa strong in the ruck again. Kicks a clearing ball out to the wing, far side of the ground. Is it Tallis running out there? Looks like it.
Yep.
Oh, I got that one.
Hey.
Scrambling around, Taylor falls on top of the ball. Was this one going to be paid against? It is. She dropped down onto it, and it was held in. They've been consistent with that today.
And it's so good at this time of year that that we get to have 3 field umpires in the Bond University QAFLW. I mean, hopefully one day we have, you know, the umpires knocking people back because there's so many people who want to do it. But at this stage, we appreciate the ones we've got, and it's wonderful to have a full complement at this time of the season. As I believe it's Balcom, who's been excellent this season. Had 3 weeks off for concussion-related injury. Ernst with the fist from the back. But Bond controlling territory. Kaslar working on the far side. In fact, I may have misidentified. And that is out on the full. Aspley have a chance to start something, and my goodness, they'll need to, from the northeastern corner of the ground. Doesn't appear to be much wind. It's not quite a full moon. And the Hornets getting close to the last chance. And Charlotte Taylor with a brilliant mark. Plays on straight away. Finds Bronte Parker. She's unmarked. Parker looking towards Davies. Almost cut off by Ernst. Not able to complete the mark. Falls to Kawa. Moves out towards O'Connor. Dribbles it outside. Pittman was well positioned. Apologies, Hung. Gets it to a charging Tyson. Tyson up through the middle. The one-on-one contest ends up with Samuels finding Milne in the middle. Brilliant play from both sides.
Aspley were looking threatening there. Controlling the ball. Great spoil by Ernst to get the ball back in going forward. Milne drives it a little bit wide into the forward 50, but a little bit wide. Ernst again. Struggles the tackle, brings the ball back towards the wing. 1-on-4 there, but Bond skipping through. Blair on the trusty left foot into a nest of Hornets this time.
Well done, well done.
Bond scrapped the ball to the side. Parker gets a quick release. Where's it going to bounce? Aspley. O'Flaherty ends up with it. Kicks the ball towards McNaughton, who makes up the ground territory. Just couldn't make it stick. Another quick kick out. Stellard takes that one, and if she gets it moving, this could be going to Drew Barnes running onto it. We want it to run onto it. She does, but the couple of Bond players get back. Paris Lightfoot as well as Talia Meyer clear it out there. However, Aspley aren't done. Stellard just loses the ball. Lightfoot handball back. Still scrappy play. Aspley won't let it out. Thought we were going to see something happen there, Daniel. But
well, we saw plenty happen, just none of it was a goal. But I think I'm praising Lightfoot and Meyer before. Yeah. The way that they got back. Yes, Barnes got a loopy bounce. Not over yet, the danger. No clearance from that ball up, and Blashak's going to have another go at it. The seconds tick away, but there is time.
It feels like they have to capitalise on that half opportunity because they're not going to get too many. It's been so tight and congested all night, as we see again there. Plenty of numbers around. However, was that Daniels run onto that?
Tallis.
Magnificent kick there. Bouncing through.
I was watching O'Flaherty because she has been brilliant at different times this season. A ruck in the pocket, roving and charging onto it at pace and kicking a goal. I was not watching Tallis. She kicked her first goal at this level in the final round against Cooperoo. That's her second goal, and that is one for the scrapbook. That was a brilliant bit of play from Maddie Tallis. We have a 3-point ball game. Utterly astonishing.
Yeah, we talked about a little bit of play in that third quarter where she came running through the half-back line, sort of wing area, and collected that loose ball with her at her, her knee height. Looked very clean and then kept running and grabbed it again. That one was that one was better because it ended up in 6 points on the scoreboard, and we're back to a 3-point margin here. Harris winds up, gets the punch forward. Wallamware, nice long kick. 3-on-3 out there where the ball's scrambling around at the forward 50 for Bond. High tackle's been called as I hand it over to you, Daniel.
Vanderweel just catching Meyer high, unlucky. That's not a comment on the decision. Meyer drives it deep, was looking for Kalija. I think the competition doesn't quite appreciate yet how good a contested mark Ella Kalija is. We're going to see Dakota Barron next week on the grand final stage. We may see Ella Kalija as well. It could be a contested marking festival. Kalija, this would hurt Aspley. This would bring Bond to light. Punched on the line. Goal umpire looks ready to signal. There's going to be a conference between goal umpire and field umpire. Where did the punch occur? I think the goal umpire wants to call it. Boundary umpires coming in. They're working well as a team. You can feel the tension. Touched. We do not yet know what that means in the context of this match.
It was a great kick from 40 metres out. I mean, there was a fingernail in it, but Aspley player got there. Ariana Clark interrupts the push forward there from Aspley, and again another ball up.
We are into red time. 15 minutes gone. No clearance. It's a 4-point lead. But at this stage of the game, anything in single digits, well taken by Davey.
Great mark, plays on, heads inside, looks for Stallard and Davidson. Both of them, another great contest again. We can't talk more highly of it. Blair with the handball over to Meyer in a little bit of space, collects it well. Nolan now, wide kick. Is that Landwehr or Kalija? Is that Kalija again out that far side? Just under the shadows of the light tower over there. Ball comes back inside. Aspley take a diving mark. Is it Pengelly? Being told to move on by her coaching team as she heads straight down the middle. Davidson and Stella get there again. Davidson handball forward. Aspley players come in to help. Contested ball. And another ball up ensues.
Bond University by 4 points. They've never had to get to a grand final this way before, and they're not there yet. It's always been top two. They won a prelim against Maroochydore. They haven't won one yet. Start! We do not know how long is left on the official timer. It's 15 minutes plus time on. There has only been one goal in this quarter. The completely inaccurate method is you add a minute per goal. But Jess Stallard has possibly the most important shot of her career, and this is someone who's kicked a goal in extra time in a grand final. Stallard, it will fall short, needs a mark, it's punched out, goes beyond Salisbury, Tyson running onto it, wants space, Danietz loses control, tried to get it forward, Pengelly ran past it, Parker on top of the pack with the tackle. There is tension around the ground, you can hear the benches below us. It's too late! Bond University, against all the odds, have found a way into the grand final. It is a Gold Coast derby, a shark stoush on the Gold Coast at People First Stadium on August 25th.
Yeah, what a toil that was. A lot of energy taken out of that game. Both teams, what a physical contest we saw. Contest after contest. Ball up, ruck, another contested possession all day, and then it was almost, Tyson breaking away from the contest late, got it down to Stallard, and we thought we might see a late goal, but no. Bond Uni able to hang on in what I mean, should be considered. That was a great overall contest.
Completely agree, Adrian Richardson. It's, I mean, 4 goals apiece. It's 4 extra minus scores that Bond University have as their winning margin, which I think is testament to the fact that I don't know what the inside 50 stats are going to read, but I know in Victoria they often talk about inside 30 stats for women's football as being a bit more meaningful, and I wouldn't mind betting that Bond just had a lot more deeper entries. But again, both sides tried to play their style, as you indicated before, but it was a way of, okay, how do we play our style and stop the opposition from playing theirs? It's a tough balance, and I admire, apart from many other things, the intellect of both Andy Lovell and Luke Glacken. It's Lovell's team that's come out on top tonight. And we'll have, first of all, congratulations to Bond University. They've had a wonderful season, only finished 3rd by the 1 win, and they will be on the big stage to defend their title next week. But this is the last time in 2024 we see the Aspley Hornets. They have every right to be devastated, but they have a greater right to be proud. This is a club, and I've said this a few times, they were winless in 2020. The turnaround began in 2021. Now they are disappointed at not making a first-grade grand final. This is a club that's got its act together, that is putting resources into women's football and reaping the rewards. And I can only say that I have had just so much enjoyment from watching the way that Aspley's played this year.
Yeah, no, couldn't agree more, Daniel. Couldn't agree more. They were fantastic tonight. They have been all year. They led the competition early on top of the ladder for a number of weeks early on in the year, only to be overtaken by Southport towards the end of the year. Fought hard last week in the qualifying final. Fought even harder tonight. Yeah, looking down at the girls, obviously some of their emotions are showing, but they were fantastic tonight. That shouldn't be taken away from them. Again, yes, congratulations to Bond. They were equally good to watch tonight. But yeah, no, just a good advertisement for the women's game up here and the QAFLW in general.
Recent preliminary final losers who have won a premiership the following year: Wilston Grange from 2017 to 2018, Yeronga when they won in 2020 had lost the previous year's prelim, Bond University last year, and of course Southport have the chance to do that next week. What Price Aspley 2025. We better wrap it up. Adrian, thank you so much for your commentary tonight, and all the best. I know you've got a lot of work to do in the lead up to the grand final, so all the best with that, but thank you for the work you've done so far for this competition.
Thanks, Daniel. Likewise, I'm sure you're going to be there next week, and we get to listen to you again, and calling with accuracy and commitment and enthusiasm like you do. It's been fantastic sitting here tonight, mate.
Thank you, Adrian. I never take it for granted. 2 matches next week. You can probably see on the field at the moment the preliminary final in reserve grade, also between Aspley and Bond University. The winner will take on Southport. So it's there is a chance for Aspley to be represented on grand final day yet. You'll be able to look at that. Please keep up with the all the action from the Bond University QAFLW on the YouTube channel, but also on the hub on the AFLQ website. But thank you for your company here at Zups Aspley Oval tonight. Please join us from just before midday, Sunday the 25th. We will be at Carrara Stadium, People First Stadium, at that time, and we will bring you both the reserve grade and then the seniors grand final, which will be between Southport and Bond University. But from Zups Aspley Oval, it's good night.
And you're both muted.
Yes, it is.